So the characteristics of the Storm, as far as I'm concerned, it takes the best of the 9-cell and the best of the 7 and puts it into one canopy. But it has that little extra airspeed from the steeper trim that gives it that little bit of va-va-voom that I really enjoy flying with.
I've been wingsuiting for about 12 years now, and when I first started, the Sabre 2 was for sure my go-to canopy. And then I discovered the Storm, and then that is where my wingsuiting world changed. It's a brilliant canopy. It's so much fun to fly. It's great for wingsuiting.
The Storm is a 4x4 all-wheel drive. You can fly it at really high speeds, and you can fly it at super slow speeds. It has a very wide spectrum of different gears and different speeds that it can be flown at. It's a very forgiving opening for any kind of jumps. So if I have to do a free fly jump with a free fly tube and I deploy my parachute, I want it to be a Storm.
I never had to think about the opening. I never had to brace for openings. It always opened gentle, and it was a super reliable, safe canopy for me as someone with low jump numbers.
The openings on the Storm, a little similar to the Spectre, but a little faster, and that still only puts it in about a medium range, but I like it. I've done a lot of big way events on the Storm, and I like it for that reason. A little bit faster, a little bit more positive, and always on heading.
Big ways, perfect canopy. If you need an on-heading opening and slow horizontal speeds initially, then again, Storm is the choice.
As a wingsuiter, the openings are super critical, and the Storm has got it absolutely nailed. You know, they're quick, but not too quick, super comfortable, and they're always on heading, which is really, really important. And on the rare occasion, if I do get twists, which is, you know, obviously my own body position, it's my fault, it just flies nice and just sits there perfectly, you know. Gives me plenty of time to calmly unzip my wings and then deal with those problems, you know. It's just perfect.
The other unexpected thing about the Storm is it's really responsive to harness movements as well, and I'm sure that comes from the added steeper trim. So I personally like to fly with my body an awful lot, and I can get a lot out of the Storm as a result of that. So yeah, big thumbs up on the harness movements too.
But importantly, you know, as a wingsuiter, it happens. Sometimes we're a bit deep, sometimes we've flown a little bit too far. But that's where the Storm really comes into its own, you know. You pull those toggles down, you keep it nice and flat at the back, and you can fly for miles, you know. It's always managed to get me back from deep spots.
I feel like I can get a lot out of the Storm under any circumstances under canopy, and it's a lot of fun too. Front risers, great to use as well if you want to even create more airspeed and more dive for sure. It has range, it has a lot of range.
The Storm was super beneficial for me with my accuracy. It kind of paved the way for my base jumping progression. It's a similar wing, it's a 7-cell, and it really allowed me to dial in my accuracy in a safe spot like the drop zone before I start hucking gainers off bridges.
I've seen Pablo take my Storm and swoop the entire landing area with it, so it can do everything.
And regarding the flare, even though it's still a 7-cell and the sweet spot is a little bit deeper than usual to get flat and level, still has a lot of bottom end flare.
Landing the Storm is where the Storm earns its keep. It is brilliant, you know. It doesn't matter what the winds are doing, you know, nil wind days to honking McGusty horrible days, you know. The power of the flare in that canopy is incredible, especially when you get down to that bottom end, and it's super, super powerful, you know. I've always had great landings on my Storm.
It's got a long control range, but boy, if you're flaring well and finishing your flare all down to the end, it feels like a really a souped up 9-cell. Why would I buy a Storm? Well, I already have. So I can tell you why I got one. If I'm not doing high performance landings and flying small cross braces, I want to have a canopy with range and with versatility, and the Storm ticks all those boxes bar none. It's amazing.